Climate change is real. This is an undisputable fact backed up by evidence and data collected by scientists and organizations all over the world. But as we've learned this semester, this isn't a problem of this isn't just an American problem or a Mexican problem or a Chinese problem. This is a problem that affects us all on a global scale. So what I want to do today is I want to talk about two global factors that contribute to climate change, how they contribute to climate change, and then I want to talk about maybe some of the solutions at the end. So the first global factor that contributes to climate change is overpopulation. Right now, the world's population sits at around 7.4 billion people. This population has been greatly expanding since the Industrial Revolution, and by 2050 is expected to reach over 9 billion people. This will create some problems that I'm going to get into in a second. The second global factor is an increase in wealth. As more people become industrialized or move past industrialization into a more information-based economy, their wealth increases. This increased wealth allows people to buy more things. So those are the two global factors that contribute to them. But how do they contribute? So if you can buy more things and there are more people needing to buy things, then that obviously means you need more food. By 2050, when our population reaches 9 billion, our global demand of food is going to double. This creates some problems. Agriculture is extremely dangerous, or extremely harmful to the environment. It uses 70% of the world's available fresh water. It consumes fossil fuels to transport and process the foods. It uses fossil fuels and pesticides that decrease local biodiversity and help contribute to greenhouse gas emissions. Some particular areas where food production are problematic are in beef production, which cows produce a large amount of methane, and the feeding operations they're involved in generally produce large amounts of runoff and pollution that finds its way into natural water sources and contaminate local ecosystems. Another way food is problematic for climate change is that fish production. Right now, fish is the backbone of the world's global food supply, and overfishing has led to the extinction or endangering of many fish species, but also some of the techniques we use, such as trawling, damage local ecosystems as well. Another way that more people buying things and there being more people contributes to climate change is that more people will be using fossil fuels. To get back and forth from work, you have to get in a car that burns gas. That gas releases greenhouse gases such as water or H2O vapor and CO2. That CO2 or those greenhouse gases either get caught in the atmosphere, trapping in heat, or the CO2 gets absorbed into the oceans, which creates a chemical reaction that eventually leads to calcium deficiencies in in shelled organisms. So one thing this class this semester has shown me is that there are some unique ways to go about fixing these problems. One of the ways that we briefly discussed was indoor vertical farming. This is the process of growing food up in skyscrapers, and it is a process being worked on globally. Currently, there are viable indoor vertical farms being worked on in Indonesia, Seattle, Canada, and London. So that's very exciting. These can cut back on carbon emissions because we don't have to transport food so far. Each region can grow its own food because it's an indoor environment, so even in the middle of the desert, you can grow your own food. And that's exciting. We also see advancements in resource use, such as 3D printing coming out of China, that can cut back on some of the deforestation, so we don't need so much wood to build buildings and such. And that's exciting as well. So my big takeaway from this semester is that if climate change is a global problem, then we need global solutions. We can't just work within America to fix these problems, and I think the world's kind of seeing that, which is why we're seeing stuff like the Paris Accords and such. So remember, climate change is actually happening, and we have to work globally to fix it.